Welcome to the Hero Network.
The next morning, I recall what a perfect night last night was, so much so that I can't stop thinking about it. It's probably not the most appropriate time to reminisce, since I have a test first period. It's so unfair. How can they do this? They hold a festival that is the culmination of what has to be at least a few weeks worth of work on a Sunday, and then follow up with exams starting the very next morning. It's got to be some kind of sick joke. I'm not too worried about it, but I wonder if they really couldn't have held off on this for at least another week. Well, at least the weather this morning is nice enough that I can study outside before class. It's a lot more refreshing out here than it would be in the classroom. Not to mention with how quiet it is, I'm starting to think that everyone else will be sleeping in pretty late today. I put down the notes I'm reviewing for a second and stare out at the school grounds, still littered with festival stalls. Looking at them now in the daytime, without paper lanterns or crowds of people to draw my attention away from them, I noticed something peculiar. A lot of the stalls that Shizune, Misha, and I visited last night also happened to be ones that we worked on. That's cute. Did Shizune come up with this? It had to be intentional, especially knowing her. Did she hope that I would catch on and see the fruit of our labors? I hear footsteps crunch in the grass behind me and turn around. I feel slightly paranoid, but all I find is Shizune standing there with an innocuous look on her face. Good morning. Why do I keep forgetting that she can't hear me? It's probably because I've gotten so used to Misha translating for both of us that I haven't actually run into many situations where I was forced to acknowledge Shizune's deafness and the problems that could stem from it. I think yesterday was the first. I give her a wave anyway. I can do at least this much, but I'm not even going to pretend for a minute that I could hold up a conversation with her, considering my ignorance of sign language. Would it be rude to just go back to my notes? I don't really know what else I could do. Where's Misha? Not just because I can't understand you. You two are always together anyway, so I'm not used to seeing you apart. I know it's silly, but for some reason, talking to her makes me feel less awkward. Surprisingly, she doesn't get mad at all. She starts signing, but it's different than usual. Shizune's hands move more slowly, and the gestures are simpler. I quickly realize that this isn't sign language at all, but she's still attempting to communicate with me. So is this the sign language equivalent of breaking it down into layman's terms? I'm terrified that if I attempt to gesticulate back, I just look like a total dumbass. The look on Shizune's face tells me that she is starting to think that trying to have any kind of back and forth like this is not exactly the best way to accomplish things. There has to be a better way. Writing on a pad? Well, I do have paper and a pencil. What else though? Cell phones? I don't really have much use for mine here, so I barely carry it around, and I don't know if Shizune even has one. She takes the initiative, holding up a finger to ask for a pause before pulling out a pad and pen from her bag and writing a single word on it. Hello. I stare blankly at her and receive a similar but somehow more intimidating stare in response. She nudges the pad in my direction forcefully, clearly wanting me to reply. Good morning. Shizune beams with a disproportionate amount of happiness. She starts twirling her pen triumphantly as she thinks about where to go from here. Oh, come on. It's not like we just invented fire. Shizune pushes up her glasses curtly, as if she had heard me, and then starts writing at a furious pace. Use the notepad. Write. I'm confused. Am I supposed to take it from her and write okay now? This is about the furthest thing I could imagine from a smooth, flowing conversation. It makes me envy the ease with which Misha is able to communicate with Shizune. Are you studying for the test? I'm pretty sure I can get away with answering simple yes or no questions like this with nods. You are here very early. Most people sleep in late after the festival. That means you are abnormal. Is that so? You're here too. Before handing that response back to her, though, I remember what I'd noticed earlier and add, Yesterday was fun. I noticed today that I built a lot of the stalls we went to. Maybe that's why they were so familiar. Was this another game? She shakes her head from side to side indignantly. No tricks. I thought that because you had made those stalls, they were the most important ones. We had to visit them, because everyone should be able to appreciate the fruits of their labors. I wanted you to be able to see and enjoy what you had done. I'm sort of touched. Still, I have to wonder why she would go so out of her way, and I ask as much in my response. Because you were depressed. I want to say that I was depressed for days, but stop. It's true. I was moping quite a bit, and not being too subtle about it half the time either, so it's possible that she knew. Was everything she did just to cheer me up then? Thanks. I mumble it before I can catch myself, but Shizune doesn't seem to care. I write it down instead, and she nods once, as if unused to it. The silence between us grows more vast with each passing second, and there's nothing I can do to break it. Having to write everything down on paper kind of destroys any hope of trying to be casual. Good luck on the exam. Shizune pushes the pad right in front of my eyes, breaking my concentration, taking the initiative again, as always. As she walks into the school building, I can't help feeling a little sad. That felt like the longest 20 minutes of my life, and all because it's so alien to me to have a face-to-face conversation with someone by passing notes to each other that I can't help coming up blank most of the time. It makes me want to learn sign language. That's easier said than done, although in a school like Yamaku, they might very well have sign language classes. In that case, there would be little reason not to pursue this. The only person who I can think to ask at the moment is Misha. How badly do I want to know this? There's two options. Wait until after class, or go look for her now. I guess I'll go now, but I'm not certain where she is. My best bet would be to start searching for her in the girls' dorm, though. After all, she wasn't with Shizune. That's probably the only place where she would be. A guy casually prowling around the girls' dorm early in the morning is unacceptable, but asking Misha about sign language classes in front of Shizune would be just unthinkable. She has to come to school sometime. After all, we're in the same class, so she too has to take this test. If I wait here, I'll be sure to see her sooner or later. I just hope she doesn't walk past me while I'm flipping through my notes. It turns out to be a pretty long wait. As students file into the school, I wonder if Misha is going to be late. Eventually I catch sight of her, while she bounces across the grounds. Hits me that I'd have to be blind to miss her with her incredibly distinctive hair. Hi, Hee-chan. Good morning. Morning. I don't have a lot of time left before class starts, so I cut directly to the chase. Hey, can I ask you a question? A question? Okay, Hee-chan. Sure. I have time, but only because I'm late. What does that mean? Ha! I should have woken up earlier, but I was so tired. If I had, I would have to study, but since I didn't, it won't hurt. What is it, Hee-chan? Well, there are sign language classes here, right? Yep, they're electives. Why do you want to know, Hee-chan? For some reason, that question briefly makes me panic. No reason. It sounds interesting, but I guess it's too late to sign up now, right? I'm not exactly being too subtle here, but Misha never seems to pick up on things like that anyway, so I'm probably being more cautious than is necessary. Well, Hee-chan, I've heard there are fewer and fewer students taking sign language every year, so, if you want to, I'm sure they will let you in. Are you thinking of learning sign language, Hee-chan? Yeah. If you learn sign language, Hee-chan, that would make C-chan really happy. If you want, we can go to the teacher's office after school. They'll probably let you in. That would be great. Don't tell Shizune that I want to learn it, though. Why not? So it can be a surprise. Besides, it'll look bad if you tell her this morning, and then I find out in the afternoon that I can't take the classes. Aw, you're right, Hee-chan. Still, this'll be hard. It's such good news. I'm in the student council, so I might as well try learning it. Even if it's just the basics, it'd be a step up from nothing. Besides, Shizune and I can't keep relaying everything through you as if we're on a phone or something, right? Wahahaha! You're right, Hee-chan. The bell rings to signal the start of first period, cutting our conversation short. I guess I'll just have to ask a teacher after classes are through. Her reaction was a little strange, but I forget about it as the day goes on. The bell rings and the teacher at the front of the room gestures that classes are over for the day. Although getting into this class was surprisingly easy, it's only been a few days and I'm still not used to the experience. The actual sign-in is easier to pick up than I expected, but most of my classmates are hard of hearing. On top of that, the teacher favors immersion. I haven't heard her speak since I asked if I could take the class. It's an alien concept and really unnerving. The moment I step out of the classroom, I hear a familiar laugh explode through the air a short distance to my left. Hi, T-chan! Misha's not in my sign language class, so this is the first time I've seen her in this context. I still don't know whether her not being in my class is a good or bad. It would be more interesting with her in it, but the potential for awkward situations would increase drastically. Hi. It's a surprise to see you here, He-chan. Ah, that's right, you're taking sign language, aren't you? Right. What do you think of it so far, He-chan? It's not as easy to learn a new language, but I think I'm getting the hang of it. Despite how different it is from other languages, it's still easier than English. Ha ha ha! Really, He-chan? I agree. I was just joking, but she'd apparently totally serious. I wonder how Misha can effortlessly translate things to me while simultaneously having a conversation with Shizune in a different language like she does. Until now, I've taken for granted how amazing it is. Someone bumps into my shoulder and apologizes. It's getting kinda crowded here, what with it being the end of the day and all. I think we should talk somewhere else instead of the hallway. Let's go to the roof or something. Okay. I decide to continue talking on the way, surprisingly quiet enough to carry on a conversation while doing so. It's still taking me some time to get used to having to look at the teacher constantly. I guess I took all those years of simply listening to the lectures while I doodle for granted. It makes taking notes a lot more difficult, too. The introductory class is small, and I'm already behind. I guess I have a lot of stuff to do. Oops. Yeah, this is much better. I turn around to look back at Misha and see her staring at me with her hands on her hips and her cheeks puffed outwards. He-chan, you're behind? That's not good at all. I started the class a week later than everyone else. It's not that bad. Okay, He-chan, let's review what you learned then. I'll tutor you, okay? This is the first time I've heard "I'll tutor you" used outside of dirty movies. I'm not nearly as turned on as I had expected. I don't know if I need a tutor yet. Aww. She looks more disappointed than usual. Makes me feel awkward to see her making that kind of face. I want to be a sign language teacher, He-chan, but it would be really great if I could try tutoring someone in it first. Even if it's for a little while, the experience would be valuable. Ah, well, yeah, that's true. I didn't know you wanted to be a sign language teacher. It's hard to believe she isn't intentionally trying to make me feel guilty, but she's very good at it. Still, it makes sense. She's very good at sign language already from what I've seen, and certainly has the voice for dealing with the hearing impaired. I never saw her as the teaching type, though. Ha 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 ha! It's the reason why I wanted to go to this school, He-chan. It's also really expensive to attend here, you know. Because I want to be a sign language teacher, I have reduced tuition fees. If it wasn't for that, I don't know if I'd be able to keep going here. I see. It's not that I think you would be bad at tutoring, just that I don't know if I need it just yet. You're right, He-chan. You're smart. Well, no. That just makes me sound arrogant. Alright, please tutor me. Ha 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 ha! Really? Okay! Okay! Yay! Thanks, He-chan. I'll do my best. Let's start right now. Too soon. I miss C-chan. Didn't you just see her this morning? But it's hard to talk to her in class, He-chan. There's no student counselor today either. Well, there have been exams all week. I'd be kinda mad if there was still student council. I'll be glad when they are over. When it's back, you're not going to skip out, right, He-chan? Of course, I'm in it after all. Don't worry, I'm not going to just suddenly stop showing up. Promise is a promise. Misha pauses for a second, not looking very convinced. C-chan takes the student council very seriously, He-chan. Now that you've joined, she works harder than before since she wants to make a good impression. Some other people joined at first, but they stopped coming soon after. C-chan tried to get more people interested in the student council, but wasn't very successful. Even when someone would join, they stopped coming eventually. They'd make excuses and just put it off more and more until they stopped coming altogether. However, I believe you really mean it, He-chan. My eyes stay focused on her hands, tilting and moving almost of their own free will, softly signing everything she is saying to herself as she speaks.
When you said you would join, she was really happy. C-chan thinks you're interested in He-chan. An uninterested person won't have the drive needed to join. Even if they do, a person that isn't interested will quit soon after. That's what C-chan said. So, it's my duty to make sure you keep going.
Is that why you want to tutor me? Kinda sneaky.
Really, He-chan? That's the first time anyone has said that about me. Wahahaha!
There's no chance that I would avoid student council work now. Thinking back over the past few days, I started to realize that the only reason I joined in the first place was because of Shizune. Her competitiveness and force of will are alluring. I can't tell Misha that, though.
Okay, He-chan, let's review what you learned in class today.
You don't even know what I learned in class today.
You're right, He-chan. Okay, let's start with the basics then. I'll just teach you everything from the beginning.
You're kidding, right?
Huh?
You're serious? It's like days of lessons. We're not even learning on the same level.
It's like riding the bike, He-chan. You never forget the basics. Wahahaha! I don't know how to ride a bike, though.
Oh, no.
Right. I want to be a teacher one day, so of course I know what I'm doing. Okay. We're starting. Ha.
She looks like she's trying very hard, so this could be bad. Well, learning a language is vastly different from teaching it, and the first step is usually the hardest part. Honestly, I couldn't do any better. Still.
Sign language was formally introduced in the 18th century by a Frenchman named, whose name I can't pronounce, and he started the first public school for the deaf in 1755. But the unwritten history of sign language is said to... I don't really know where to start. Sorry. Well, what better place to start than the history of sign language, right? Right. No, wait. Maybe the alphabet. Okay, the alphabet it is then. Okay, He-chan, this is pretty basic stuff, although some people think that this is all a sign-in and forget that there are all kinds of specific gestures and words. Although you can't really get anywhere else without the basics. This is A. Do you see it? Now, you try.
I already know this, though. I humor her anyway.
Wahahaha! Yeah, that's it! Now, this is B, and this is C.
Misha makes one symbol with each hand without specifying which is which.
And now, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z, and Z.
Yeah, this is bad. Do you think Shizune wants me to do some student council work today anyway? We could go.
Of course not, He-chan. Come on, I'll do it again. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K. Your turn.
So there's really no student council work that needs doing? Or anything like that?
What are you talking about, He-chan? Come on, sign!
Like this?
No, like this!
Like...
this!
I wish C-chan was here.
This would be so much easier with her. Ha 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 ha! That's how sign language is taught most of the time anyway, with 2 instructors. Did you know that, He-chan?
No. I let my brain run through what this would be like if Shizune were here.
He-chan, are you paying attention?
Yeah.
C-chan says that sign language is different from any other, because you have to think about everything before you say it. That means every word has more weight, He-chan. Every single one is more important than normal. So, pay attention, please.
She continues her basic rundown, the basics of sign language. Eventually she starts talking about stuff I start to recognize. In the end, I'm impressed. It took a bit of stumbling to get there, but as a teacher, she's pretty good when she's serious. After a while, I start to notice that it's getting late, so I thank Misha, bid her goodbye, and go back to my dorm. I learned a lot today. I'm jolted awake by a thunderous banging sound coming from my door. My first thought is, it could be Shizune. After all, only a deaf person or a jackass would knock that loudly at this hour. Who is it? Of course, if it's Shizune, she wouldn't be able to hear that or answer it. There's no reply, so I'm kinda pleased. I haven't seen Shizune in a while. Opening the door, I find Kenji standing out in the hall, his eyes nervously darting from side to side. Oh, it's you.
Yeah, it's me. What kind of reaction is that?
Well, I'd be able to give you a more personalized response if you had answered when I asked who it was. Kenji frowns and pushes up his glasses exactly like Shizune.
Why are you making that weird face?
I wonder how he's able to see me making a face now, yet wasn't able to the millions of other times I've reacted to something weird he has said or done. I kind of want to pursue this, but I'm too tired to actually do it. Shizune pushes her glasses up just like that. You know, the student council president. It's just a little weird.
What the hell? What do you mean there's this girl who does the same thing? You mean she touches her glasses? I do that. That's my thing. Who is this bitch? Why are bitches all up in my business, stealing what I do?
His character flips from anger to fear in the blink of an eye.
Is she trying to replace me? Pod people? No, wait, that's an exact copy. Pod women?
It's like my two greatest fears combined.
It is!
I can't believe he has a point.
Hey, you going to go into town today?
Maybe later.
Okay, awesome. I have some stuff I want you to pick up for me at the post office. Some delicate and secret stuff.
He speaks in a whisper as if talking about his mail, and even a normal tone of voice will jeopardize it. You can have your mail sent directly here, you know.
No, you can't. You can have your mail sent to the school, and then the student council picks it up, and then they give it to you. That's not the same as the mail appearing in your hands. I don't trust the student council. Many dudes don't get their mail here, you know. They probably steal it all. They think that just because they sent to them, they have a license to steal? I can just see them now, elbow deep in mail, fast grabbing all the free swag they can get a hold on. Sickening.
Where can I find this mailman who can conjure mail out of thin air and into your hands?
I don't know. I bet the student council killed and preserved their monopoly on all the student shit.
It doesn't work that way. Is that what you wanted, though? Fine. I can pick up your mail for you, but eventually I'm going to collect on all these favors. You already owe me some money.
Thanks for reminding me. I'll pay you back after I get my package. Yeah, my bad. I can't really pay you until then. I'm still broke.
Then I'm basically doing it for money, like a job. Why do you need the package first? Is there money in the package?
Nah.
I am seriously dumbfounded. Why can't you get it?
Because I am going to remodel my room today into a war room. As the days go by, I realize more and more how dangerous feminism is. It really is everywhere, even in places like Iran. You can't tell how far up it goes. When the war begins, if we haven't transcended the concept of nations to fight for our genders, it will be chaos. No one will know who will take what side, and a war against feminism wouldn't just mean World War III, but the end of all life on Earth as we know it. If we lose, all our supple Japanese women will be raped and enslaved by a bunch of sociopathic lesbian supremacists. Meanwhile, the handful of men that didn't die in the war will be castrated and forced to repair toilets and build massive monuments commemorating the feminist victory.
That's crazy. You're crazy. I think you're overthinking this.
As the days go by, I realize more and more that you are not ballin'.
You've only talked like 4 times.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, whatever. I'll get your package.
Awesome.
I close the door and jump right back into bed. The second my head hits the pillow, a painfully loud ringing assaults my ears, and I realize it's my clock. The alarm going off means that right now is the time I'm supposed to wake up in the first place. On weekdays, at least. I pick it up and throw it without looking up. It gets wedged between the bed and the wall, the noise not stopping. In fact, it seems to grow louder. By the time I'm able to pry it out of there, I know I'm not going to be able to go back to sleep. The only thing I can think of doing now is going into town and just getting Kenji's stupid package. But it's too early for that. After showering, I take my medication. I'm actually very hungry today since I went without dinner yesterday. Before that, I just had a very light lunch. I eat the pills, chomping on them like a leg of lamb. They are unbelievably bitter and disgusting. Well, good medicine tastes bad, or something like that. I'm still hungry, and there's still a lot of time to kill, so I decided to go into town and find somewhere to have breakfast. I can't remember the last time I ate out. Besides, the weather is nice, so why not?